Hello, and welcome back to Storyline Recapped. Today, I'm going to explain a comedy drama movie from 2016 called The Edge of 17. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. Nadine is an off-kilter 17-year-old secondary school understudy, who rapidly strolls to the study hall of her instructor Mr. Brunner. She is bothered and tells Brunner she will off herself and that she wants somebody to pay attention to her. He then, at that point, jokes that he was composing his self-destruction note since all he needs is harmony and calm during his midday break. Nadine takes us to the start of her story. At 7 years old, she saw the amount more famous and popular her more established sibling Darian was, to the place where it seemed like their mom Mona leaned toward him over Nadine. Her dad Tom was the one in particular who encouraged Nadine. She gets singled out by a few mean young ladies at school and feels alone until she meets Krista. All things considered, Nadine and Krista immediately become dearest companions. At 13 years old is when Nadine expresses some truly screwed up crap occurred. She becomes unreliable about her looks. While getting burgers with her father, Tom experiences a lethal coronary failure and accidents in his vehicle. His demise crushed the family. In the present, at age 17, Nadine is at school with Krista when she spots Nick Mossman, a terrible kid. She turns out to be physically drawn to him. In Mr. Brunner's class, Nadine meets Erwin Kim, a cute boy that has a crush on her. Whenever the young ladies return to Nadine's home, they discover that Mona is leaving to see a man she met on the web. Nadine and Krista become inebriated and play around while Darian has companions approach swim. Nadine becomes excessively inebriated and she vomits in the latrine with Krista helping her. Nadine offers humble remarks before dropping to the floor. Krista goes down the stairs to find Darian tidying up canine pee off the rug, and they begin to make casual chit-chat. Nadine awakens with a headache. She slithers out of the restroom and hears laughter coming from Darian's room. Sadly, he and Krista are sleeping, and she's giving him a handjob. Every one of the three is humiliated, particularly Nadine. Nadine is as yet pissed at Krista later in the day, to the place where her disappointment begins to irritate Krista. She enlightens Nadine concerning a party she's going to with Darian, so Nadine picks to go along with them. At the party, Krista goes off for certain different young ladies to play lager pong, letting Nadine be. She heads outside and meets an alcoholic young lady that thinks about her and Darian to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito's characters in Twins. Nadine calls Mona to go get her. She lets her little girl know that the man she met online is hitched, and she got an email from his better half. Nadine calls Erwin to hang out. They go to a festival and ride the Ferris wheel. Erwin attempts to go for a kiss, however he is chanced down since his timing was terrible. Nadine later thinks about Erwin as a decent elderly person to make things much more seriously humiliating. On Monday, Krista approaches Nadine, yet she's as yet distraught at Krista for going off with different young ladies at the party. At the point when Krista specifies that Darian requested that she be his sweetheart and go to prom with him, Nadine conveys a final offer: Krista should pick her or Darian. Krista leaves her. Whenever Nadine returns home, she begins to contend with Darian over his new relationship. Mona attempts to mediate, however Nadine simply passes on to go for a stroll. She gets a slushie and afterward goes to Petland where Nick works. She goes in and attempts to converse with him, however, she puts on a show of being somewhat strange. Nadine attempts to converse with Mr. Brunner, however, he doesn't appear to be keen on her concerns. At the point when he tries that no one enjoys her, Nadine goes crazy and starts offending him and his calling. He is undaunted and gives her around 50% of his treatment and says she's his number one understudy to quiet her down. Nadine calls Erwin once more and inquires as to whether she can go over and swim in his pool. He says okay and gets very invigorated. She goes over and is amazed to see that Erwin's family is affluent. Nadine facetiously inquires as to whether he needs to engage in sexual relations, which disturbs him. Afterward, he shows her a few drawings he made and discusses his venture for an impending understudy film celebration. Mona takes Nadine to school now that she isn't conversing with Krista. Nadine overemphasizes being dropped off near Krista, so Mona carries Nadine to work with her. While there, Nadine gets exhausted and begins carrying on. Mona lets Nadine know that her dad would be extremely disheartened by her. Nadine swipes Mona's vehicle keys and leaves. Nadine goes to a jungle gym and begins to compose a long, imprudent message to Nick about how she believes that should do sexual things with him. She then, at that point, attempts to erase the message, yet coincidentally sends it. Nadine blows a gasket and goes to show Mr. Brunner. Even though she beseeches him to assist her with following through with something, he simply gives her cash for frozen yogurt. Nadine gets her yogurt and pays attention to different irate phone messages from her mother. Scratch sends her a message since she put her number in the post, and he welcomes her to hang out. Invigorated, Nadine runs home to get dressed up before Mona returns home in a taxi. Nadine goes on her date with Nick, which simply turns out to be him taking her to an unfilled parking garage. They begin making out and he begins grabbing her, yet Nadine reconsiders and advises him to get off. She needs to get to know Nick, however, he is uninterested. At the point when she's apprehensive he'll leave, she begins kissing him, however she pulls away again when he attempts to take action. Nadine leaves the vehicle and starts crying. Mona calls Darian while he's out on the town with Krista. He surges home to find Mona getting Nadine's garments off the floor and saying she'll give them away. Darian attempts to stay cool as a cucumber. Nadine gets gotten by Mr. Bruner and takes her to his home where she meets his better half and baby child. Darian and Krista appear at the house to get Nadine, however, she will not go anyplace with them. Darian hits back that it is distressing for him that Mona is continuously relying on him to be the man in charge, how he needs to apply to schools close by since he's stressed over what will befall the family assuming he's gone, and how he can't accompany Krista without destroying his relationship with Nadine. Darian leaves, so Mr. Bruner brings Nadine home. Nadine goes to Darian's room and apologizes for her way of behaving. She then mournfully communicates to him how she has consistently abhorred what her identity is and how she acts, and how she stresses she can never transform it. Darian gives her an embrace. Nadine gets up promptly the following morning to go to Erwin's film celebration. Darian and Krista are down the stairs going to eat. Krista inquires as to whether she can call her later, and she says okay. At the film celebration, Erwin presents his film, which is about an outsider who attempts to prevail upon a young lady he enjoys, yet she doesn't return his sentiments. A Goliath beast takes her, so the little outsider goes to save her by making a gigantic stone pound the beast. Whenever the young lady attempts to return her kind gestures, the outsider has continued and is with other perfect outsider ladies. After the show, Nadine gives Erwin blossoms. She says she realizes the film was about her, however, he denies it. She then feels humiliated because she appears as though somebody who thinks everything is about them, however, Erwin says he was simply kidding. He then, at that point, brings Nadine over to acquaint her with his companions. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and hit the like button to help the channel out. See ya.